In the previous lecture, we learned why enterprises use CI/CD instead of manual deployment. But one important question still remains. What actually happens after we push code to GitHub? In this lecture, we'll explore the complete architecture of an enterprise Apigee X CI/CD pipeline and understand how every component works together. I have a question for you. Suppose I change one line inside my Apigee proxy. I'm just changing hello API to hello world. Now, where did that change go? Did Apigee magically receive my code? No. Did GitHub deploy my proxy? No. Did Cloud Build somehow know I changed my XML? No. So today, let's become detectives. We'll follow our API proxy from this laptop until it reaches the Apigee runtime. At this moment, our proxy exists only on this laptop. Nobody else in the company knows about this change. When I commit and push my changes, I'm not deploying anything. I'm only storing my latest code inside GitHub. GitHub has become the single source of truth. But GitHub still doesn't know how to deploy AP is. So who wakes up Cloud Build? The answer is a webhook. A webhook is simply an automated notification. Think of it like a doorbell. When someone presses the doorbell, the person inside the house immediately knows someone has arrived. Similarly, when a developer pushes code to GitHub, GitHub immediately sends a notification to Cloud Build. However, in this course, we're going to take a slightly different approach. Instead of configuring GitHub webhooks immediately, we'll manually trigger Cloud Build using a single command. In other words, you will be acting as the webhook. Now, Cloud Build wakes up. Don't call it Cloud Build yet. Call it a temporary engineer. Imagine Google hires a temporary engineer every time you push code. The engineer asks, "What should I do?" Now, Cloud Build asks, "I know what to do. But how do I deploy?" Here now, Cloud Build calls Maven. Maven is like a project manager. Project manager opens pom.xml file and read instructions. Does Maven know how to deploy to Apigee? No. Then Maven calls Apigee deploy plugin. Plugin says, "I know." Perfect. This is where the real deployment begins. The Apigee Maven plugin now takes responsibility for the deployment process. Think of this plugin as a translator. It understands both Maven and the Apigee Management API. The plugin packages our API proxy and sends a secure HTTPS request to the Apigee Management API. Now that we understand how every component fits together, it's time to see the complete CI/CD pipeline in action. At this point, our API proxy is stored in our local project, and we're ready to trigger the deployment pipeline. Remember, in an enterprise environment, Cloud Build is usually triggered automatically by a git push through a Cloud Build trigger. For learning purposes, we're going to trigger Cloud Build manually using a single command. This lets us observe every stage of the deployment process. The moment I execute this command, Google Cloud starts a new Cloud Build job. Cloud Build creates a temporary build environment, uploads the latest source code, reads the instructions from the cloudbuild.yaml file, and begins executing each step in the pipeline. Notice the build logs appearing in real time. Cloud Build is executing the workflow exactly as we defined it. One of the most important steps here is invoking Maven. Maven reads the pom.xml file, loads the Apigee Maven plugin, and the plugin communicates securely with the Apigee Management API. This is the point where our proxy leaves the build pipeline and enters the Apigee platform. Let's switch over to the Apigee console and verify what happened. Notice that our proxy has now been imported successfully. Even though we never uploaded a zip file manually, the pipeline has created a new proxy revision for us. Every deployment creates a brand new revision. This is one of Apigee's most powerful features. Instead of overwriting the existing proxy, Apigee preserves each deployment as a separate revision. This gives us complete version history and allows us to roll back to an earlier revision if required. Let's quickly recap what just happened. With a single command, we triggered Cloud Build. Cloud Build executed the steps defined in our cloudbuild.yaml file. It invoked Maven, which used the Apigee Maven plugin to communicate with the Apigee Management API. Apigee imported our proxy, created a new revision, deployed it to the test environment, and made the API available for consumers. And this is the foundation of an enterprise Apigee CI/CD pipeline. In the next lecture, we'll take this one step further by understanding each file in detail, starting with pom.xml, followed by cloudbuild.yaml, and finally env.sh, so you'll know exactly how this automation works behind the scenes.